So now we've gone through the centers, we've gone through the fours, the threes, the twos. So let's go to the points. You know, this was a topic. It continues to be a topic of debate between Knicks Nation. Who's gonna man the helm? Who's gonna be the lead guy? You know, obviously last year we got Frank coming in his second year, a so-so rookie year. You know, obviously, you know, compared to his peers, wasn't that great. But we got high hopes for Frank. We got Trey coming off of a Cinderella bounce back, career resurrecting season. Finished as a starter, played very well down the stretch for the Knicks. We got Emmanuel Mudiay as the reclamation project for last year. They claim he wasn't in shape. I don't know how that happens, but claim he wasn't in shape last year. And we got Baker, the Mr. Untouchable, the $5 million man. I'm gonna skip Baker just to get into this three-headed monster.
I think that's the right move.
Yeah, I think that is quite apropos for the evening.
How dare you, man?
We gotta
I like Baker too.
How dare you?
But, well, especially because I like him more at the wing than I do the point. Now that we have three, I think when they didn't have as many options, he would handle the ball. But I think now I would almost even consider more on the wing. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. We know what Baker is, right? We know what he's going to be, and he's a guy that should always have a place on the roster, on a roster somewhere, because he's good practice player. He could give you 5 minutes in a pinch, but we don't need to talk about Rob Baker, I don't think.
Seriously, man, seriously. So with this three-headed point guard platoon that we got working in here, I guess Macri, what do you think in terms of the direction? What do you think Fizdale goes here in terms of who gets the minutes?
I think it's two different questions. I think the direction that Fizdale goes, if I was a betting man right now, I would say that he's probably going to start Trey Burke to start the year. That would just – it's just the gut feeling that I have. That being said, my biggest fear going forward as a Knicks fan, and the only real significant fear that I have, is that they will give up on Frank Ntilikina, because I think he's a stud. I think he is going to be not a star in the traditional sense of when we think of a star, but I think he's going to be a guy that is going to play 30 minutes a night for the next 12 years in the NBA, and every single one of those minutes, his coach is going to be happy that he's out there. As long as the shot comes along, and based on his form, I don't think there's any reason why the shot isn't going to come along. Whether he's playing the 1, whether he's playing the 2, whether he's playing the 3. Mm-hmm. And I think he will see time at the 3 this year. I think that's in the cards. He's a guy that you want. I think he's going to develop quickly into a guy that you want on the floor. I just don't think, if I had to guess, I don't think he's going to be the starting point guard from day one, but I do think he will get close to 30 minutes a night this year. I think they're going to figure out ways to get him in there. It's just, and if his shot is falling from day one, I mean, I take back what I said. I think he's absolutely in the conversation for the starting job.
Yeah, I mean, my take on the Frank thing is, I feel like, I like Trey. Don't get me wrong, and Trey Burke actually he broke his 2K rating on KnicksFanTV. So salute to Trey Burke. He's a friend of the program. I like Trey, man, and I like his story. And I think, according to Fizdale's philosophy, if you keep what you kill, I think Trey does deserve to be the starter. Because he did kill. He did, my bad, JLS. He did kill, and Frank hasn't. But I feel like we have to continue with this kid's growth and see what we have here.
It's the most important thing that they do this season.
Most important thing, man. The point guard position has to be solidified. We need some sort of clarity of what we're going to do moving forward, man. We just have not had any sort of stability at that position since Steph. We have not had that stability, and I don't even know if you want to call it stability, but
yeah, I don't know if he was
longevity. Put it that way, right?
That's fair.
And also, I think from a defensive standpoint, to balance the lineup out, I think we should see what Frank can give us, manning the helm. Jay, go ahead and give me.
I'm gonna just turn the camera off now. You still just steal your minutes. Trey Burke, man, he dug his way out. I respect him for putting in the work. He's obviously putting in the work this season. And to me, he just seems like the most polished and the most ready offensively to take over this squad. The problem with Burke is because I feel like his ceiling defensively isn't that high and it can cause problems in the long term, which is why I feel like it is up to Frank to actually keep what you kill and kind of eventually take over for Trey, hopefully by January or so. But as of right now, Trey is the guy. The pull-up game is nice. He added the assist to his arsenal in the G League, and I like what he does, man. And I know people are kind of saying that he kind of overachieved towards the end of the season with his shooting. He was shooting around 50%.
It was high.
He's like, can he keep that up? It remains to be seen. But as of now, I feel like you have to start him right now, at least to start, and then see what Frank gives you. See if Frank takes that next step and is aggressive on the offensive end, and he can shoot those shots, and he's backing down people and posting up smaller point guards to see if all that is eventually put together. You know what I'm saying? So,
JB, are we overlooking Mudiay? Do you think this is really a two-headed race, or do you think Fizdale kind of goes with a three-headed kind of platoon, kind of like what Hornacek did last year? Are we overlooking Mudiay? Is he definitely the odd man?
I mean, I think all of us have a part in us after last season. I mean, I think I don't know if Mudiay came on the record, but I know the Knicks did, or maybe was it Hornacek, in saying, he came to the team being a little out of shape. And I know Fizdale said around Summer League, I think in a press conference, like, look, it also was he was transitioning to a new team. Yeah. And, he is still a young guy. And
Fizz called him out early, man. He's like, Mudiay.
Right at that first press conference.
Mudiay, right? You're trash, but we're going to get you right, kid.
That's exactly what subtext is everything.
That was a word-for-word translation.
Yeah, word for word. That was my translation of it.
But yeah, so I think all of us kind of are, I'll say, interested to see now this year in a safer environment with Fizdale what he can do. But I think in terms of who starts, I agree with what you guys are saying. I actually was one that I didn't have a big issue even last year with the way Frank, the minutes that he got. I know there were certain games that we didn't like when he was on the court, but I know there was an interview Frank gave over in France, and he tends to speak more free there because, he can just speak in his native language.
Right.
Where he admitted that he got tired in January, February. He wasn't used to that schedule.
Hit the rookie wall.
Yeah, right. And the team, it's a little different in the NBA in terms of how the team does things together, and he's getting used to that. So, I think, all that you have to keep in mind too. I guess the added part that I was thinking about, if we take aside, merit, who deserves to start, and just think about lineups that make sense is, I mean, what do you guys think in terms of, okay, well, if we start Burke, well, now, we have this starting lineup of offense where Cantor, we know on offense he's going to put up, right? And then now we got Knox, we got Hardaway Jr., we got Burke. So you go to the bench, well, where is that offense going to come from?
That's my thing.
Do you need to maybe consider staggering Burke's minutes with the bench because he can both score and he can facilitate, drive into the hoop, kicking out, and doing things to make that unit flow a little better than maybe Frank can? What do you guys think, I guess, with that?
Yeah.
My worry real quick with that would be if they're not confident that Frank, and I personally believe he will be able to run a team sooner rather than later proficiently, but if they don't think he's ready to do that from game one, even if the other players out there with Frank are gifted offensive players, if Fizdale doesn't feel like he could get them into offense sufficiently enough, then you might be wasting some of that. I think that's the other side of the coin. But I hear you, and I think it's a legitimate issue that they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Macri as well. I think, we don't know how confident they are in Frank in running the show, but I think, as a projected 30-win team, it's time to show. It's time to see what we're working with. And, you know, we could throw Trey on the second unit to get that instant offense out there. Because if you are starting Trey, I don't know where that offense is coming from off the bench.
Right.
You know,
maybe it is Mudiay. I don't know.
Maybe it is Mudiay. We'll see. We'll see.
Don't discount Mario. Mario,
yeah.
if he ends up coming off the bench, I could see them running just a lot of their offense through him, because if it's one thing I could do, it's score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people like him as like a sneaky fantasy pick.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, for that reason. Yep.
One of these point guards develop, our problems are solved. Point blank period.
Sure.
Frank develops into what he's supposed to be or he needs to be. It solves a lot of problems on both sides of the ball, and we can be a lot more comfortable going into January, February, knowing where the team is going.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We need that closure, man. I need to see a point guard, a capable point guard that we can see here into the future. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Everybody in the chat, once again, salute to everybody in the chat that's watching us on this Saturday. If it's just your first time watching, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the point guard battle in training camp. Is it Frank? Is it Trey? Is it Mudiay? Are you a closet Ron Baker fan? Let us know what you think. Who's going to be in this rotation? Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the chat, and we'll point out some chats.